Only a few here and there.
Get it tilted a little bit, Mandy, that his head's not.
Oh, we'll push it back a little bit. No? Oh, it doesn't. We need Gary, the tech guy, up front. Personal. Okay, so, Agudavach, we're holding the Kuf Vav Omid Aleph. 3 lines down, Va'ika Moisar Shemin. So, we're discussing Reb Shimon's Shita. Reb Shimon holds that I can take half chalois, half rikikin. If somebody says he's going to bring a mincha mafet tanor, so instead of bringing only 10 chalois or 10 rikikin, he says you could combine the two. So therefore, if I have a suffix, what he meant, maybe he meant both. So the Gemara asked a few questions on that we learned yesterday. Now the Gemara continues with the questions. Va'ikim moisar shemen. What do I do with the oil? With the leftover oil? I have a problem. What's the problem? What's the problem? If this individual meant he's going to bring 5 chalois and 5 rikikin, or any combination, doesn't matter exactly the amount. It could be 1 chala, 9 rikikin. Moisar shemen machzir lechalois. Then what do? You take the leftover oil, you put it back to the challah. If what? Oh, I guess. It's going to be ready for the scene. Cool, we're going to start. So what do we do here? The Gemara says we have a little bit of an issue. What do you do with the leftover oil? According to one shita, if his intent was to do only rikikin, so then the kohanim get to eat it. And on the other hand, you put the rest of the oil, if it's for the challah, you put the rest of the oil back into the challah. So now what do we do here? Says the Gemara, there's another sheet over there in that sugya that we all remember. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda. It goes according to Reb Shimon ben Yehuda. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, I'm going to say one word, you're all going to say, yeah, you remember the sugya. Okay. That's right. Mishum Reb Shimon, he says in the name of Reb Shimon ben Yehuda. Moishchem kimin ki. You take on the rikikin. So Reb Shimon ben Yehuda holds in any situation, all the cases, you take the oil and you do some sort of letter, ki. In Yavanis it's a ki. So then we describe there's at least like 4 types, 4 shitas. Either it's a gimel, a nun, a tes, and an x. A chi, right. I might be missing one, I don't remember. There's like at least 4 shitas over there. So, what?
We do that.
Yeah.
Whoever did the smearing on the outside, rather than the top.
Right. I actually saw there's a Dave Malin, I think it was, who says that goof is the shaila. It's considered blila. It's a new halacha b'fnei atzma, just putting his shemen on top. Anyway, so he holds that anyway, no matter what, the leftover goes to the kohen. So you do some sort of letter on top, kimin ki, and the kohen gets it. So that's not a problem. Now, just a general question. He said if a person makes an adava, he says, I'm going to bring a mincha, but he has no idea what mincha he was talking about. He comes to bed and he says, I don't remember. Was it a silas? Was it a machvas? I don't know. All I know is that he said, I'm going to bring an adava. I'm going to bring a mincha. So we say he has 5 options. There's 5 types of menachos. He has to bring soilas, machvas, marcheshes, rikikin, and chalis. Rikikin and chalis are both from the same family. They're both part of the oven baked goods. Anyway, so it's one of those 5. Ask the Gemara, why? Why don't we make it 6? There's another option. Maybe this guy meant to bring a mincha of nesachim. We learned in the Mishnah, we had it, when was it? Yeah. Kuf Dalan on the base. The Mishnah says, Machlekes Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Tarfon, whether or not you can bring oil mincha, but says Rava, but it comes out that according to both Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Tarfon, misnadav adam minchas nesachim b'chol yom. Wine you could certainly bring every day. all by itself. That's the Gemara, so maybe that's what he meant. Maybe this guy, when he comes to us and says, I said I'm going to donate a mincha, maybe he meant a bottle of wine, or whatever, a lug of wine. Says the Gemara, Kiko mistapkile simin yachid biglal levoina beloy mikamta. So what the Gemara is saying is, the Gemara says there's 5 things that a person knows for sure that he didn't mean. If he meant one of these things, fine, you're right. But usually, the guy, he knows be'erech, in what direction he was going. He made an adava, he knows it wasn't $10 million, right? He knows, there's a few things he knows. So one of the things he knows is, I donated something that comes from an individual. Let me stop delaying. I remember it wasn't something that's brought by the community. And wine is brought by the tzibur.
Why? But you just said a second ago that every person could bring his own asachim.
Correct, but you're right. But in general, the derech klal, it's not inclusive. It's not only tzibur. The derech klal is tzibur. So such a thing, he knows, he remembers. It would ring a bell to him if it was wine. It wasn't wine.
Nah, it's also Menachos comes just because of the other. One comes also because of tzibur. That's the difference.
What?
Saying.
Yeah, but he's asking that in a situation where there's no carbon, he decided to bring wine. That's okay.
So that's what the topic is. What he was saying is he's bringing something that comes just because of Yachid, as opposed to something that could come also because of tzibur.
Yeah. Now, just because, no, but the other stuff also comes. Yeah, you're right. Machbas Menachos only comes v'yachid.
It can't come shukla. It's all
Yeah. Okay, so there's certain hints in here. Now, if he says no, that's not true. I meant something that the tzibur also brings. Okay, so you have a problem. Then he's going to have to bring 6 menachos. Oh, another thing. Kiko mistapkile, his suffix was babiglal atzma, something that can come on its own. Babiglal zevach, loy mistapkile. Now again, and Mendy has the same shiloh. We just said that the wine comes by itself. But b'derech klal, it comes because of a carbon. And memelo, that's not what he meant. That's not part of his suffix. Kiko mistapkile, tuna levoino. I said something that usually requires levoino. Shena tuna levoino, loy mistapkile. Wine never needs levoino. Kiko mistapkile, ba beloy. I only want to bring like a loy. Ba b'shloy shalugin, loy mistapkile. If I donate a carbon a keves, I have to bring 3. If I bring a par, I have to bring 2. But 1 is not there. So I remember it was in the lug category. And memela, wine is not included in all these things. I also remember I wanted to bring a mincha, donate a mincha that requires kmitza, and wine doesn't have kmitza. Memela, that's not part of the mincha. But if he doesn't remember these things, or he says maybe something that didn't require kmitza, so that the taka has to bring six type of menachos. One of them would be wine. Hirashti mincha shel Yisraelim. Then the Mishnah, unbelievable case. We're going to go through it. It's mind-boggling. Tana Rabbanan. Hirashti mincha. I specified a mincha v'kavati b'kli echad shel Yisraelim. I remember that I said it's going to come in one vessel, one kli. A certain amount of mafirashti, and I don't know if I donated 1 isarin or 60 isarin. What do I do? Yavi mincha shishim isarim different chachamim. So chachamim say he brings 60, and he just makes a tnai, and he says whatever's extra is an adava or chulin. Different chachamim. Rabbi Omer yavi menachos shel isarim me'echad b'ad shishim. Shehein 1,800
What you say?
Remember? Well, I just stuck that in. I think Rashi says Nedava. I'm not saying Nedava, Rashi says, I think. But I said, whatever. The point is,
No,
part of it
Nedava
is
is okay.
Chayva.
Nedava.
But we'll see in the Gemara whether it's Nedava or Chulin, or it depends how we learn.
It's how minchas Nedava. Right. I don't understand why you saying chulin. No, Rashi does
No,
say-
no. My
Right,
Chayv,
but
I have a
not
Chayv. It's an Nedava, but I have a Chayv now to bring it. And the rest will be another mincha.
An extra chayv.
Yeah, an extra Nedava on this one.
Rashi does say Rashi al chulin.
Rashi says Chulin here? You sure on this? Okay.
Put in the Zora.
Well, we're going to discuss it. We're going to get into it. So going back, so what does Rebbe says? Rebbe says that we don't know. He doesn't know how many Esrainim he wanted to bring. It could be 1 to 60. So therefore, he has to bring 60 vessels, and each kli has, the first one has 1 isarim, the second one has 2, the third one has 3, so on and so forth until he gets to 60. If you total that up, it's 1,830.
That was
Now it's
Rebbe.
interesting
That's
that
Rebbe.
that's Rebbe. I showed you how to do it, and I see Tosfos says exactly word for word like it's brought down in the math books today. The way, if you look at Tosfos, how do you get it? You take 1 to 60. V'tzarek chilasim l'soifan ad emza kigoyin echad l'shishin. Heim shishim ve'echad. So you take the first number and the last number. The first number is 1, the last number is 60. You add the 1 to the 60 is 61. Now we have 61 times 61. 30. It's 61. Shnayim v'chamishim, and then you take the 2 and you put it together with the 59, and again you have 61. Shishim v'echad. Ushloisha, you take the 3 and you put it at the end. Chamishim v'shmoina, shishim v'echad. Keintina shloishim. Kids, that's exactly how it says in Google how to do it. This Tosfos had this 1,000 years ago. That's how they do it. That's the trick. Fine.
That's where they took it from. Yeah, that's what it said.
There's another way. I wish I had a different way of doing it. I don't know. Kids, this is the way to do it. This is how Carol. How do you say it? Gauss. Gauss. So, that was his sheet.
This is
Mom-
where he took it from.
Yeah,
What
he
are we
got
trying to
it.
work out?
When he was 6 years old, he took it from here. What?
What are we trying to work out with putting the numbers together? Because
How much is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4
Oh,
plus 5
okay.
plus 6
What's the-
until 60?
okay.
So you do is you take 60 and you add the 1 to the 60.
How do you do it
that's
with the Hanukkah candles, Nick? You do the same.
10:59
Oh,
59
how do you get to
to
48?
Okay, I'm
So you take, you want to know how many candles are in a box? You take
2
8
plus
days.
9.
You take the 1, you put it on top of the 8.
No, you take the 2 and put the 9.
No, you take the 1 and the 8, that's 9. Then you 2 and the 7 is 9. The 3 and the 6 is 9.
First, how many candles you had the first night?
Oh, no, you because of the shamash, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. 9, you're right. 1 and 9 is 10. 2 and 8 is 10. 3 and 7 is 10. 4, and that's how you do it. And you take the center, you take the middle. It's 1 to 9, so you take the center of 1 to 9 is 4.5. You do 4.5 times 10 is 45. Are there 45 candles in the box?
No, it's 48.
It's 48. Okay, I did something wrong. What?
4, not 4.5. It's 8 days.
No, but there's 9 candles.
Shamish.
The shamash. 9 candles.
saying that candles are 9.
How many candles are that thing?
I'm saying there's 8 candles.
No, you said there's 9.
9 candles.
I 11.
That's 11 times.
2 plus 9 is 11.
Not the first day. Oh, you start with 2, you say. You start with 2. Okay, fine. Okay, that was my mistake. Alright, Zog the Gemara. Let's continue weiter. So this guy brings 1,830 esroinim times 5 pounds is 90 something 100 pounds. The Gemara is going to say the number.
By the way, just totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
Totally irrelevant, but just looked up Carl Friedrich Gauss.
Yeah.
He was born in 1777. So he actually got him well after this Rashi.
Of course. Yeah. Tosfos.
Ellie, some milk maybe?
I just read today that the guy that invented the vaccine saw in a Mishnah that somebody put by with dogs should eat the liver of their dog.
What?
So he realized that the Gemara said that what's in the thing can kill you.
You're talking about what's his name? Who did the vaccine? No, not Pasteur.
No, the other guy, some
Yeah, Dr. Gemara. So we have 1,830. Pirashti ve'eni yedei ma pirashti. It gets more interesting, Rabbi said. He says, I specified a mincha ve'ein zoi mehem pirashti, ma pirashti, ve'ein zoi mehem pirashti, ve'eni yedei kame pirashti. Now he has another problem. First of all, he doesn't know our issue that we had, he doesn't know the amount. But he also doesn't know what type of mincha. There's 5 menachos. Now he's mamish messed up. If he knew the type of mincha, he just doesn't know the amount, so Rebbe says this to bring 1,830. But if he doesn't know the type of mincha, it's 5 times 1830. So he has to bring a semi-trailer truck of flour to the Beis Hamikdash. This guy backs in the...
5,400?
No. Yobi chomish menachos shishim Israelim shem shalish meyois divrei chacham. So according to Chachamim, if it's a problem, 1 mincha, you have to bring 60 times 5 is 300. But according to Rabbi Yomi, Yobi chomish menachos shishim Israelim menachos v'ad shishim shem tisha alofim umeyo v'chamishim. 5 times 1830 is 9,150. Times 5 pounds, it's 45,000 pounds.
What do we
More.
learn from this?
No.
You have to know what
Write down everything.
Imagine. Now, here's another problem. 45,000 pounds, backing it up in a semi-trailer truck. Then he has to take them all out, and he has to do it 1 isarin at a time. 1 isarin at a time. You can't put it in a big clean together. Okay, he's sitting there for weeks, months, I don't know. He brings all those. Okay.
What about the Bukhari?
Yeah, who's eating this stuff?
Seriously, that's what I think.
He changed the whole market now.
Make them immediately right before you get to the base, right there. That's what you're supposed to do.
Or don't have amnesia, don't have whatever, I don't know.
Oh, he would get it in no, no?
No. Hitzer, then he just changed the whole pricing. He took all the soilers off the market. Now a pound of soil is $75. Zog to the Gemara. The Michael Mifligi. So what is the machlokes between Rebbe and Chachamim? Rebbe says this exaggerated thing, you have to bring 1,830 or sometimes 9,000. What's the machlokes here? So just so we have a little bit of a, you don't get too scared, I'll just give it over in 30 seconds. I'm not going to say the whole thing, I'll just give you a little bit of a background so you know what we're facing here. The first, we're going to bring 5 ways to say the machlokes. They're all things, a lot of them we learned already. The first one is, machlokes if you're allowed to bring chulin into the azar or not. Rebbe holds you can't bring chulin into the azar, that's why you have to bring all these menachos. The other one is, the question is whether you're allowed to mix a chayv and an adava in the same kli. Rebbe holds you cannot mix a chayv and an adava in the same kli. It causes a big problem, and therefore you have to bring all these kelim. The Gemara says maybe the machlokes is whether or not you're allowed to take. We had this shayla. Let's say you have a limb of a chatos mixed in with the oila. So the halacha is you're allowed to take the limb, put it on top of the mizbeach, even though typically you're not allowed to bring chatos on a mizbeach. It's eaten by the kohanim. You're allowed to say that this limb is wood. And that would be the machlokes. The Gemara slugs that up, that's not the machlokes. And then we have another machlokes. Maybe the machlokes is whether each isar requires a lug or not, a lug shaman. If we had the machlokes in the Mishnah, whether Chacham say no, 1 lug is good enough for 60 Israelites, and Rabbi Elazar Yaakov says no, each isarin requires a lug. That's going to be a big problem according to Rabbi, and therefore he says you have to bring in individual kalim. And finally, a shaila, or whether a person says I'm bringing a small mincha, could he bring a large mincha to cover the small one? That's a shaila. Maybe if a person says small, he means small, and that's it. I thought you were going to Yerushalayim. Good. A big surprise.
My cousin.
Fine. What? I was getting all nervous. I was not coming tonight. All right. Zog the Gemara. Let's see it inside now. This is going to take us all the way to the Mishnah.
At least you're reading this.
Yeah.
Responding, but at least you're
I wasn't going. I can't go. I am coming from Yerushalayim here next week. If anybody needs a ride. And if I'm late, you know why. Zog the Gemara. What's the machlokes between Rebbe and Rabbanan? Rabbanan say you bring 60 Israelim. Rebbe says you bring 1,830. What could be the machlokes here? Omar Rav Chizda b'mutar lahachnis chulin la'azor komifligi. Machlokes, simple machlokes. Can I bring chulin into the azor? Now we're going to see Tosfos in a second. It's not literally. Everybody holds you're not allowed to bring chulin into the azor. But machlokes is this considered chulin la'azor? Rebbe Sovar also lahachnis chulin la'azor. Rabbanan Sabri mutar lahachnis chulin la'azor. So what's going on here? Rebbe holds. Really, you have 3 options. If a person brings flour into the Beis Hamikdash, it could be one of 3 things. It could be chulin, it could be a chayva, that he promised a mincha and he has to bring it as a chayva, or he's chayv a mincha, or an adava. One of these 3 things.
Doesn't the adava become a chayva?
Yeah, but not only afterwards. We want to take the extra, make it into an adava. That's not a chayva. It's like from the afterwards. So, if we remove option number 3, which is chulin, so what are you left with? Nadav and chayva. And I cannot put nadav and chayva in one kli. They don't mix together. It's also to put a nadav and chayva right now, according to the Gemara. So if I can't put nadav and chayva in one kli, so I don't know. I have a mincha here in front of me. I don't know if the guy meant 1 isarin or 60 isarin. I have no idea what he meant. So what is he supposed to do? If he takes one kli and puts 60 isarin in the kli, but he didn't mean to bring 60 isarin, he only said 1, let's say. So 59 of those 60 are in a dava, and 1 is a chayva, and they're not allowed to be in the same kli. Now, the way out of it is to say that 59 of those are not in a dava. 59 of those are a chulin. Chulin and a chayv could go in the same kli. That's not a problem. So I have one kli, I bring 60 Yisroelis, I say, that's why Rashi said it's all chulin. I say, if I promise 60, okay, so the whole kli is 60 chayva. But if I promise 1, let's say, so 59 are chulin. That's only good if I'm allowed to bring chulin to the Azara. But Rabbi Elazar, I can't bring chulin to the Azara. He has a major problem. So he has to bring 1,830.
But if something is chulin, the whole point of the mistake that you made, you weren't sure if you did 1 or 60.
Yeah.
You're now being Mekadesh. You're stuck being Mekadesh all of it, so it's not chulin anymore.
No, I'm not being Mekadesh. I have to keep it as chulin, because if I keep it as an adava, if I switch it into an adava, then I have a problem that an adava and chayv are touching each other, and they're not allowed to touch. They're not allowed to be in the same kli. The only thing that's allowed to be in the kli, it's interesting. A lesser madreg is allowed to be in the same kli. If I do any sort of kedusha to it, if I bring it up from chulin to nadava, then it's not allowed to be in the same kli. So I have to keep it as chulin, but chulin is not allowed to go into the azara. So I'm a catch 22.
So how does it help to bring many korbanos?
Because
everyone is a problem.
No. So if I bring a bunch of different kelim, one kli I bring 1 kli I bring 2, one kli I bring 3. I say whatever is mine, whatever I donated, that should be chayv, and the rest should be nidava. But the nidava is not touching a chayv; they're all individual kelim. They're a full kli of 3 isarin of nidava, a full kli of 16 nidava. Rabbanan say bring just one kli, and within the kli I have 2 types of flour. Part of it is chayv, part of it is nidava. That can be. So then part of it is chayv and part of it is chulin. That could work. But if I can't bring chulin into the azara, so I can't put it into the same kli. So I have to bring individual kelim according to Rabbi. Right?
How
No?
does it help you? Because you still got to bring extra korbanos that you never added.
I'm allowed to bring as many nadavas as I want.
Oh, okay.
As long as they're in their own individual kli.
Either it's a chayva or it's nadava. That's not then. When it's 2.
It's either chayv and nadava, according to Rabbi, because I can't bring chulin to the azara. And a chayv and nadava I cannot put into the same kli. So they have to be individual kalim, and there I'm going to have 60 kalim with 60 types of strains with equal 1,830 Yisraelis. Yes, is it understood, or I lost everybody here? Should we do it again?
You can start at the beginning of Menachos now.
Very, very simple. Let's do it again.
Say, once
Just a
you
second.
put it in chulin, you don't have to bring it then.
I have to bring it because what if it's not chulin? What if it's a chayv? What if I said, here, look at
I'm saying, but then
this.
it's
Here's my kli. It says 60 chayv. I don't know how this got here. 60 chayv, right? I have a kli with 60 Yisroelis of chayv in it.
What was the keli called, by the way? The 60?
A pizza.
A pizza. And the pizza was not, the pizza did not have to be raguf or in part.
Only what I want. Only I tell the pizza what I want. I want the pizza to be mekadesh whatever I donated. If I donated 60, the whole thing should be kaddish. If I donated 59, so 59 should be kaddish. 1 should be chulin. But I can't bring chulin to the azara. So I have to use another kli. Here's my 1. 1 nidava. 59 chayv. This I made for another sugi, but we'll use it here. We'll steal the thing. Now, according to Chachamim, it could work differently. According to Chachamim, I could bring chulin to the azara. So all I need is this one kli, and I get away with everything. Why? I put 60 Yisraelis into this kli, and I say, if I donated 59, so 59 a chayv, and one of them is chulin. But even Chachamim agree that I can't say one of them is Nadava, because in one Kli I can't have Nadava and Chayv.
Why?
So it has to be, what?
Remind us of the reason for that.
I don't know the reason, but we're going to see in a
Where
second.
did we see that? Where would you see it? Where did
Here,
you see
in
that?
a second. In a second, we're gonna come to machlokes whether that's true or not. They might be mechulik on this whole concept, and that goof is gonna be the machlokes between Rebbe and Chacham. That's the next step in the Gemara. Okay, so that's this.
So when you have the chulin, and when you're saying you can't bring chulin into those zones, so how does it help to have 60 cups?
Because then they turn it into Nadava. So it's not chulin, it's Nadava. One is Mr. Nadava, and this is Chayv.
This is 59 and this is 1.
Yeah. No. This is gonna be 60. It's right nice. And this is gonna be one of Nadava. Now,
So I say
59 of this.
If I was the net 60, then this is the one.
And if it's 59, so only 59 of these is turns of Chayva, and one of these are chulin.
Yeah. No, but we said you can't bring chulin into those zones.
Right. That's why you have to keep on going. And after this is only 59. This is really 59.
59,
And it's really
okay.
58 and 57, 56.
Okay, so each, but not one. Okay.
Let's just go. Do we have a second here? I want to show you this place. Very interesting place. On the Hey Omtez, whoever has it. Because we had a little bit of trouble understanding what is this concept of not bringing Chulin to Azara. So I found this Taisus, this great Taisus. Taisus says, what do you mean you can't bring Chulin to Azara? How do you bring your shoes into the Azara? How do you wear your clothes into the Azara? The pay on base. Pay on base. Divra Masim China Chisim Chulin Azara. So like 8 lines down, Taisus says, what do you mean? He's not wearing big dikuna. He walks in with his regular Shabbos suit. Maybe kipsosil azara umagdisha Africa. This is the kasha we always had. A few of us asked this question. We never understood how it works. You bring a chulin azara. You bring a sheep into the azara, and then you're making it kachim, right? You're allowed to do that. What's the problem? So why are you telling me you can't bring anything into azara? So I brought some flour into azara. Either I want to be mekadosh or I'm not being mekadosh. So it says Taisves. And then he skip a few lines. Basically, Tosfos is saying that what's happening here is that he took this cup with all the flour and he did a gusha. He touched the mizbeach with it. That you're not allowed to do. That's chulin b'azar. If you're acting in a way of Kedusha, that's usher. But walking into Beis HaMikdash with your weekday suit...
Even with the cracker in your pocket, it's not a problem.
Right. A cracker in your pocket is not a problem. But if you take the cracker and you do shchit to it, or you do hagasha to it, that's a problem. Do tnufa to your cracker, that's usher.
But that's what's gonna happen over here.
Right. That's why it's usher. That's why it's Chulin Bazar.
According to
According to Rebbe, it's Chulin Bazar. Why? Because he's taking the mincha. According to Rabban, it's not an issue.
Why?
Like that. Here, let's see the next one.
Everywhere or here?
Right now. Says the Gemara, Rava Omar. Just as a side note, Tosfos points out that this is not Rava, it's Rava, because the Gemara later on brings a different Rava who says another pshat. So he says it doesn't make sense that this is Rava also. So Rava Omar, the Kuli Almo Osur Lachnas Chulin Azara. Rabba holds that no. Everybody holds this also. Okay, so you don't have a problem. That goof is the question. Where do we get this idea that you're not allowed to mix an adava with a chayva? Maybe you are. So yeah, that's exactly the thing. Rabbanan hold sabri mutalar chayva. You're allowed to. So if you're allowed to mix chayva and adava, so all you have to do is bring one vessel that contains 60 yisraelis, and it's a memanachach. Either the whole thing is a chayva, or whatever I donated is a chayva, and the rest is an adava. Rabbi Savar also of chayva and adava. So since I can't mix a chayva and adava, that's why I have to bring 60 different kalim.
Just to be clear in my own mind,
Yeah.
he brings 60 kalim, and he
Yeah.
brings one Isarim. In the first kalim, he brings 2,
Right.
3. So this idea of having to fill all with 60 and say 1 plus 59, 2 plus, we got to this massive number before. It doesn't really...
No, that's the total of his training. That's the total of how much does he have to buy? How many training does he have to purchase?
Before he comes,
60 times 30. 61 times 30.
Yeah.
But before we had another calculation,
No.
we brought a semi-trailer.
This is a small truck of 1830. But if he didn't know which mincha it was, it could be a machmas also. It could be a marcheshes. So times 5. 1830 times 5. Then it's 9,150. Omarle Abai L'Rava. I skipped this Rashi. There's a nice Rashi here. Should we look at it real quickly? On the bottom. We're running out of time. If you look at Rashi, like 2, 4, 6, by me it's like 8 lines from the bottom. In Dibra Maskov, Rebbe Saba Asalach Nitzchun Lazara. It's an important Rashi just to know the concept. But the Kasha says Rashi, if you have a Kasha, Lesi Shishim Esronis, B'Shishim Kalim, let this guy, why does Rebbe say he should bring 1830? Let him just bring 60 Esronim and 60 individual Kalim. Then you don't have the problem of mixing Milcha, Chayv and Adava. It's a great Kasha, right? It's almost what you were asking, Mr. Kornberg. Let him bring individual, just 60 kalim with one isar in each. And he just say, from these 60, if it's 59, so I'm using 59 of these different kalim to combine 59. So Rashi says you can't do that. They have to be in one kli. The kli creates the mincha, and the 59 to be in one kli of 59. You can't use 59 individual isar in kalim. Lirabanon, yeah, you have it in the Gemara. According to Rabbanon, let's say you're allowed to mix chayv and adava. What are you going to do? At the end of the day, if you have another mincha in here called an adava, you're splitting up this kli. You're saying half of this, or whatever your amount is a chayva, and the other part is an adava. But at the end of the day, minchas and adava requires a kmitza. The Gemara, the comments of other comments. You're right. He took 2 kmitzas. The Gemara's not going to go down easy. Wait a minute. In my flour that I took kmitza from my nedava, there's a little bit of chayva in there. And in the other guy's comments that he did chayva, there's a little bit of nedava. What are we going to do? The tali bedas koyin. Domak alecha the mati yoda the koyin hashto chayva. A little bit of nedava. Since he's being makdish it all the way at the end, so the kohen will decide as he does the kmitza, whatever he takes, that's the chayv, and whatever he takes the second time, that's the nedava. Ask the Gemara a very like cheshbon question here. But how in the world could you take 2 kmitzas, one chayv and one nedava, and put it on the mizbeach? You're going to run into a big problem. Look at the nedava ratio. Which one are you putting on first? If you put on the nedava first, the chayv. So then how do you put the chayva number 2? Dilma kula chayvahi. The chashru l'shirayim. You have a major problem. We have the concept that some of the shirayim, the leftover of the mincha is missing. You cannot put the kaimas on the mizbeach. You throw the whole thing out. Now what if the first kmitza that you put onto the mizbeach, what if the whole thing was a chayv? What if all 60 is what I promised? So I took one kmitza, and I put it on the mizbeach, and I took another kmitza just in case it's in a dava. But if the whole thing is a chayv, that means that part of it is missing. I don't have shirayim anymore because I just wasted. I just took a kmitza and I put it on the mizbeach beforehand.
Let me just say that it depends which one came second. The one that came second is not the right one. The one that came first is the right one.
The one that came, okay, and that's the next step in the Gemara. Now, v'amamar shirayim shechasru ben kmitza la'aftara. If the leftover after the kmitza went missing, it blew away in the wind. You can't bring the kaimitz as a aftara. Now, look the chayv operation. Now, if you put the chayv on first, the nedava yechamakilos. How do you put the second one on, which is nedava? Maybe again the same problem. Maybe the whole thing is a chayv. The choshu mimenu l'ishem areyu b'bal tatiru. You remember this famous halacha? Once I put something on the mizbeach, let's say I put the imurim of the chatas on the mizbeach. It's also for me to put any other part of the chatas on the mizbeach. So over here, once I was makdir the kmitza, I'm not allowed to put another kmitza on. It's also. It's this is the right. So bal tatiru. You're not allowed to add. Once I'm makdir, I'm not allowed to add anything. What?
Breyer doesn't come into this at all.
So Breyer, there was a discussion of Breyer beforehand. That discussion of Breyer is with the kohen. That's where they bring it up. When the kohen decides which one. So So what do you want to say over Breira?
He says, whatever I take, that I've decided now, be the coin.
Yeah.
Is the Dova. Or this is
Okay, but I just donated twice. I just put two things on the Mizbeach. I'm only supposed to put one. From each carbon, I could put one kmitza. On a regular carbon, if you have forget about it. Forget about it in the Dova and the Chayv. I have one Chayv carbon, mincha. I took a kmitza, put on the Mizbeach. Then later on, I decided, you know what, let me be machmer, chazanish, shir chazanish. Let me take another kmitza, put, I'm over. Baltaktiru, you're not allowed to do twice. So, in case this whole thing is a Chayv, how do I put the second one on the Mizbeach? I'm over, I'm Baltaktiru. Suffik deraisa. Nothing to do with the Breira. Even if I know 100% that the whole thing is a chayv, it's also for me to put it on the mizbeach. Says the Gemara, there's a way out of it. I could put the second one on the mizbeach if I pretend that the second one is wood. That was the eitzah we had back then in that sugya. Let's just pretend. I'm a review the Breira of Shimon Pazi. It's fuel. The maskul l'shumeitzim. I could put even a part of a chatos. I could put on the mizbeach if I say this limb is not a steak, it's wood. I need it for fire. So over here also I'm putting fuel on the mizbeach. Okay, Rabbi Eliezer, the sign of Rabbi Eliezer, the isser of putting extra on the mizbeach is l'reach nechayach. Don't bring it as a carbon, but bring it as fuel, that's mutter. So now I have another option, says the Gemara. Option number 3. Maybe the machlokes between Rebbe and Rabbanon. Why Rebbe say you only have to bring 60 esronas, and Rebbe says you have to bring 1830. Maybe everybody agrees that you're allowed to, that's not the shiloh. You're allowed to mix a chayv and a dava. So Mr. Kornblue with his, the biggest sheet, everybody holds you're allowed to. But the Rebbe Lezer comes in, that group is the question, what we just said. The Rabbanon says the Rebbe Lezer, Rebbe Lezer, the Rebbe Lezer. Rebbe holds you're not allowed to put any leftover mincha on the mizbeach even as fuel. He doesn't hold the Rebbe Lezer. Everybody left to go through the whole process of doing every single one. Rabbanan say no. If there's any extra, any problem, I just pretend it's fuel. Amalei, so kedaytach leRebbe, mutar of chayva b'nedava, u'der Lezer leslay. If Rebbe holds that I'm allowed to mix a chayva and a dava, they're allowed to touch each other. And he doesn't hold the Rebbe Eliezer, then I'm allowed to put it on the mizbeach. Efshir b'maiki shitin b'chad mana, b'chad mana, u'maiki le'v'komets. So he says like this. This is why he drew this. It's not a big deal. If you hold that they're allowed to touch, until now we said Rebbe holds that the chayv and the dava cannot touch. But if they're allowed to touch, so why do I have to bring 1830? All I need to do is bring 61. Why? I say that this is 60, and all this is my chayv. And I touch them. They touch together. They're not mixed, but they touch. And now I get the best of both worlds. Problem was that I'm removing, I take a kaimitz from this cup and a kaimitz from this cup as they're touching. So how much did I take off the 60? One kmitza. The whole problem was that I took off 2 kmitzas. No, the second one came from this cup. And they're not related, but they are related. In other words, they're related to the point that if any of this is nedava, so the kmitza I took from cup nedava goes for the Nadava part of this, but the Lamaisa I only took off 1 kmitza from the 60. Your whole problem was, how do I take off 2 kmitzas from 60? I didn't. I only took off 1. And the second one I took off from a completely different, and they're allowed to touch. Is it right that they're not allowed to touch? It's right that that this thing doesn't work. Rebbe,
Allowed to touch on what point?
I think they're allowed to touch through the kmitza.
Not at the second, after the first kmitza was done?
What do you mean?
You do the kmitza from the big one,
Yeah.
then you put the 2 together, then you do the kmitza from the small one. So what happens?
What's the difference?
So you can just save a few seconds of touching. I'm just trying to think. Do you have to be touching while you take the kmitza from the big one? What do you gain by them
The
touching?
big one you don't need to, because it has nothing to do, the big one has nothing to do with the small one.
Right.
Before they shouldn't touch, that way you're not doing it from one and the other.
They shouldn't touch. Why shouldn't they touch?
I don't know.
I take the kmitza and I say I'm taking it for this. And in the 6th, that I partner with the kmitza that I took from the Nadava.
In that case, I actually do have to touch it.
They must touch.
Even the first one.
Why?
Because you're trying to cover both the chayv and the dog.
No, I'm only using this for the double part of this. But when I take the kmitza from here, I'm taking only for chayva. Who cares about this guy? That's what he's saying.
Because Rashi
And
brings,
if you hold it, they're allowed to touch. I hear what you're saying.
Rashi
not
brings
bad.
the Indian of the Maga only after he explains the first mitzvah.
Ooh, you have time for Rashi?
Now you can't understand.
Fine. Yeah, no, about that. Givaldik. Okay, fine. Says the Gemara, Rava Omar, you see now, this is why Pesach said before that the other one is Rava. Because now all of a sudden the Gemara comes up, Rava Omar, Shalom Aleichem, as if he
Why
never
did
said
he
a
say
pshat.
this one's Rava?
I don't know. Let's see the Lashon over there. Rava Omar, the Kulam, come on, give me a few.
Maybe he was sure that Rava was always before Rava.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because Rava, when did Rava was all the way there, right before Ravashi. So Rava was before that, maybe, yeah. But it's certainly after Rav Chizda, the kids are okay. Rava Amar the Kuliyama Mutal Arev Chayv and Dava. Everybody holds you let him mix a Chayv and Dava. And also you let him bring Chulin to the Azor, you have to stick in there. With the Kulam Yislu, the Rebbe Elazar Vahacha, and everybody holds also. The kids are all the Tirutzim, all these Pshatim that we just said until now, all the Machlokes, everybody agrees to. You let him bring Chulin to the Azor, everybody holds like Elazar, you let him burn anything you want for fuel. And you let him mix. And you let him mix chayv and bin double. Look how many islu the Rebbe Eliezer that you let him bring. No? Eliezer, yeah. V'achav looked at the Eliezer ben Yaakov v'Rabbanon kamifligim. This nan, like we learned in the Mishnah, afilu mincha sheshishim yisar noizil shishim lug. If you have a mincha of 60 yisar, you have to put 60 lug, meaning 1 lug per yisar. Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov omer afilu mincha sheshishim yisar ein lo luga. He holds that you're only allowed to put 1 lug of shemen into 60 yisarin and not more. So we have a major problem. Shenemar lemincha v'loik shemen. Rabbanon savri ki Rabbanon. Rabbanon hold like Rabbanon that you put in 60 lug of shemen into 60 yisarin. V'chol chaz v'chaz yisarin lug. Some people not goris Rabbanon, whatever. V'chol chaz v'chaz yisarin lug kol. So now it's very good according to Rabbanon. Let's say I have 60 yisarin here. 30 of it is chayv. Because let's just assume I made a nedava for 30, and the other 30, because I don't know, is the nedava. So 30 lug of oil go for the chayv, 30 lug, I have to put 60 lug of oil to 60 isarin. So it's perfect. Every isarin gets 1 lug. So regardless of how many nedava I have the same amount of lug for oil. Every isarin gets a lug. But according to Rebbe, it's a major problem. Rebbe Savak Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov ma'in lo luga. You could only put here 1 lug of oil for all 60. So now, if 30 of these are nedava, that means that the chayv is not getting enough oil. You're going to take 1 lug and put it into a kli that has 60 sarid, and that lug goes for the 30 chayv. Mendy, you with me? What's going on here? Shot? It's hard to get. You hear the shayla? You put 1 lug into 60 yisaron, but the maisa, 30 of it is a chayv and 30 of it is an adava. So the adava didn't get any oil at all. Or the adava is stealing oil from the chayv.
And by putting in 2 lug, you've done enough.
You're not allowed to. I'm not allowed to put 2 lug. It says in the Torah.
Each one has its own.
No, that's Rabbanon, but that's a whole. That's a puzzle that says you're not allowed to. Lemincha b'loik shaman, that's it. 1 loik. Don't put 2.
You can't put 1 loig shemen.
You can't put 60.
For the nedava and 1 loig for the chayva.
Yeah, but you don't know how much is chayva. What if the whole thing is chayva? So I just added. I was just over. It says 1 for the whole chayva. What if I put 60? What if I donated 60? And my 60 gets 1 lug. That's exactly what the Gemara is saying. Look at the lashon of the Gemara. Rebbe Savak Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov Damar ein lo luga v'lo yidin ichada mincha, and I don't know if it's all 60 is 1 mincha, and therefore the sagla b'chad loy, and therefore it's only 1 lug. Ishtei menachos. It's possible that it's not 1 mincha, it's 2 menachos, and then the bin shnei lugim, and l'maisa only put in 1 lug. It's a problem. Now Taisus asks, so why did they do this trick then? Why did I have to do 1830 do this trick? So they says this trick doesn't work because in this cup right over here that has 60 isaraim, and only one lug of oil, at the end of the day, what if some of this cup is a nadava? So the nadava is going to soak in some of the oil, and I'm now going to have less than a lug for my chayv.
Don't you need one look per Isan?
Only going to
According to Rabbanan,
not
that's
going to
correct. That's,
not going to Rabbanan, yeah.
Somebody said we can't have the Nadavar and the Koyes for touching.
That depends. No, he's saying.
Cool, that's exactly what the Gemara starts off. Says Rava, everybody's going to hold that they could touch. And then have a new pshat. The problem is, how much oil, what do I do with the oil? Rav Ashi Omar, last pshat here. What is the machlokes between Rebbe and Rabbanan? How come Rebbe holds you have to bring 1830? If a person promised a small carbon and he brought a bigger carbon, is that okay? Rabbanan Sabri, Kotem Vehevi Godol Yotza. If a person promised a small carbon, he brought a very large one, Yotza. Rabbi Sava Yotza.
has to be exact.
It has to be exact. We're going to see tomorrow in the Mishnah. This nan. If a person donated a small carbon, an animal, he said, I'm bringing a little goat. Baby gadol, he brought a cow instead. Sorry, Rabbi Omer lo yotza. So it's the Mishnah tomorrow. Says the Gemara Tzricha, Mincha is different than an animal because at the end of the day, the amount that comes out of it, you're right. There's a guy who could donate 60 sarin, a truckload of flour, and a guy that donates a little bag of flour. But what comes out of it? One payment. Regardless of how much you bring, what goes in the mizbeach is the same amount. It's always one scoopful, one handful. So therefore, it's the same. So it's not a carbon cotton. In terms of what I put on the mizbeach, it's the same. But a large animal, you put a lot more into the mizbeach. Its innards are much larger than the smaller animal. Maybe they'll agree that you're not allowed to do it. And then you just reverse it. Says the Gemara, Eitim, Zav, Yain, Oila, Toida Shar, Simon. It's interesting, I don't recall really a simon for a Mishnah. These are actually simanim for all the Mishnahs coming up. Or most of them. Some of them don't get a simon, but it's not just for this Mishnah over here. Says the Mishnah, Eitim. A person donates Eitim, wood, to the Mizbeach. How much does he have to bring? So, Eitim is plural. Lo Yiflais Mishnah Gzirim. A Gzir is, it says in Yuma, it's 1 amma by the size of this kli that you make the flour straight. It's a huge piece of wood. It's very, very large, very heavy. Levina, if a person says, I'm going to bring Levina to Beis HaMikdash, Leifchas Mekaymet. So he has to bring one handful, one kaimet. Chamisha Kmatimim, says the Mishnah. Once we mentioned the Levina, that it gets a Kmitza, says the Mishnah, there's 5 Kmatim you should know. Haimer, Harei Levina. Person says, I'm bringing a Levina, it's a Kmitza. Leifchas Mekaymet. Hamanadav Mincha, person brings a Mincha, Yavi Ima Kaimet Levina. He should bring another, that's in the second one, is a kmitza of levina for a mincha. Hamalis hakoymis bachos, if a person brings a kmitza outside of his hamikdash, he's chayav. Now what's missing here?
What do you mean it's chayav? But we can't do it.
He did the chutz, he's yotzei. Instead of putting it on his back, he took it outside. He's over. But what's missing here really, and Rashi points it out, is your typical kmitza. So we always discuss in the entire Masechta, kmitza of a mincha. Every mincha requires a kmitza. The Mishnah doesn't bring it down. So Rashi says it's included in these words. By the Mishnah saying that if you take the kmitza and you bring it outside of the Mikdash, it's obviously also referring to the fact that you have to do kmitza to a regular mincha.
I don't understand what.
He did the kmitza. He has the
big Kohanim. He decided it's going to take a chance on Torah and bring his carbon outside of this Mikdash.
Yeah, exactly. And you're only over if you bring a full kmitza. If you bring less than a kmitza, you're not over. It has to be that size. What's the size? 5 minutes. Shnei bezichim, and the last two shnei kmatzim. So the Mishnah counts. So there's really 4 categories. The Mishnah counts the 2 kmatzim. Each spoonful that you put on the lechem aponim is 1 kmitza. So we have 5 total. Harei lezav. A person says, I'm donating gold to the Beis HaMikdash. You should bring the smallest gold coin, dinar zav. Kesef, what's the smallest one? Medina kesef. Nechoshes, Over here, it changes. The person says, copper leifchas mimot pesach. He doesn't mean the smallest copper, because that'll be mamish nothing. So he brings a ma pesach. Pirashti, when he did my Pirashti, the guy says, I donated, I don't know how much gold. How much gold I have no idea. So maybe he has to give, $10 million. Yeah, maybe he starts putting it down. He starts counting.
Not this.
Not this. Atkan. No, it can't be that much. Fine. Horabon. Korban Melanish Misnavim Mason.
Each one is different.
Each person, depends on the person. It's interesting that it doesn't say, ask him how much you know. You have to start counting. When he sees it, no, that hurts.
You see, he's going to get a heart attack.
When it's Malpeh, yeah, it could be I donated $10 million. No, when he sees the gold leaving his bank account, no, I can't.
You can make it if it's in shul and they're doing an auction.
Exactly, that's why I said it. Korban Melanish Misnavim Mason. So this is a very interesting sugi we had before. I remember when we learned this, everybody's their mouth was open. How's it possible? So the Gemara says, the carbon, when the Torah says you bring a carbon, includes even wood. It says that wood is considered a carbon. Kurban oitim. Rabbi Omer, eitzim carbonate. This is incredible. Turin melach. You have to sprinkle salt on them like a regular carbon. On wood. Turin magasha. You have to take the wood, touch them as bad with it. Omer Rava, the Rebbe, eitzim tu'unim kmitza. Incredible. You remember this story?
Yeah, sure.
You grind down the wood. You grind it into little pulp, into little sawdust, and you go like this. Kmitza. And says the Gemara. Omer Papa, the Rebbe, 18 You can't just take the wood. You remember this, huh? It stuck out there. You can't just take the wood and put it on the mizbeach if you donate it. You have to take the wood and put it on top of wood that's on the mizbeach because it's a carbon. Just like you don't take a carbon and put it flat on the mizbeach and put it on top of wood.
To put the eitzim on.
The eitzim, you have to. Where do you get the eitzim from? You bring them from home? No. The eitzim is that was that sugi. The eitzim comes from the Beis Hamikdash. You have to pay for it.
And it was something which we just not too long about something which is not common.
Without words.
Without words.
Yeah.
We don't do two for the holidays, do we?
No. You don't get to it.
It's heavy.
Don't forget the kindness.
What about them?
After the
You don't have to do meat on the kain.
Once you do the meat on the wood.
Oh, what happens to leftover wood? Yeah, it goes to the kain.
The delegation says
Yeah.
you go to Kain and that's.
Because it's like a regular mincha, yeah.
Wow.
Says the Gemara, Levoinali place min hakoyim.
But so this is not an adova for because he wanted it for the fire on the on the altar. Obviously not.
Yeah,
It turns out that he thought he's donating firewood
Yes.
for the top of the mizbeach, and me and the town are taking it home for their dinner.
Oh. And why? And with the mincha, you don't have a problem. He thought he's donating 5 pounds of flour. Meanwhile, the man was taking
Everybody
it.
knows. Somebody donates
Oh, wood,
firewood
no.
for the top of the mizbeach. You would assume that that's what he intended.
Levoina, let's just finish. The idol wants to go on. They want to take the wives out and such. So.
The donation of wood was a donation of the carbon of the wood, or whether it's from fire.
Right. There's a bit of shiloh. What does it say over there? I don't. If it was actually for the Beis Hamikdash, building of the Beis Hamikdash. Well, then you wouldn't have to do kmitz on it. If it was for the walls of the Beis Hamikdash.
No, 34.
Levoina leifchas min hakoyim. Minolon. How do you know that levoina, the minimum of levoina, is frankincense, is a koymet? Minolon the siv veheri mimenu bekumtsoy misayos hamincha umishamno veis kol halevoina. So it says levoina that pasuk makish levoina laharama the mincha. So there's a hekesh within the pasuk maharama the mincha koymet av levoina nami koymet. Kon rabbanon harei olayim mizbeach yovi levoina. A person says a weird lashon. He says, I'm donating for the mizbeach. What? What is it? There's only one option. Levoina. Why? Shein l'cham davar shekar l'gabi mizbeach ela levoina.
What about oil?
Oh, the Gemara is going to answer your kasha. So the only thing that goes completely in the mizbeach. What's the answer? We had it a few times. This exact kasha. What about oil? The oil doesn't go completely in the mizbeach. Why? The skin goes behind it. If a person says, I said something, but I don't remember what I said. So now, Yovi Mikol Dover Shekar Mizbeach. On this, Rashi says it means Minchas Nesachim and Oila Soif and Levina. The Suleka. Well, wait a minute. Why only Levina? Why when a person says a rather Mizbeach, it's only Levina? Voika Oila. Maybe he meant Oila. Ika Oila Kan. Not the whole thing goes in the Mizbeach. The skin goes to the Kan. Voika Oila Soif. We have the Oila of the Oif. The entire thing gets burnt on the Mizbeach. So the Gemara says not the entire thing. Remember the famous Noitza? The Kohanim was so strong, you have to throw the feather from one corner of the Mizbeach over the entire Mizbeach into the little Trumas Hadeshin. And what happened to it? Says Rashi on top over here, a nace happened, it got sucked in, it just disappeared. The Noitza disappeared. Va'ikon Nesachim. What about Nesachim? This goes to answer, somebody mentioned 2-3 days ago, what? Nesachim, you don't throw it in the fire. L'shitin azli. It goes into the drain called shitin, it doesn't go on the mizbech. Va'ika minchas Nesachim. What about the whole mincha that comes with karbanos, kividika, and that whole thing goes on the mizbech? Kividika mincha, the achli kahana minah, the leipsikale. It doesn't make sense that the guy meant a minchas Nesachim when there's different types of menachos. Some go to the kohanim, some go. So that's not what he meant. A good devach. In less than 12 hours.